This podcast is brought to you by Elite Level Status Wines. My wine journey started with drinking cheap grocery store wines that were really acidic and gave me headaches. Then I switched to quote-unquote luxury, but overpriced, full-bodied wines that were really heavy and had a bad aftertaste. The inability to find the perfect wine led to the creation of Elite Level Status Wines. Elite Level Status Wines are approachable, medium-bodied wines with great flavor and minimal aftertaste. And with me being a health-conscious person, I wanted to create a wine that was lower in sugar and lower in calories than the full-bodied mass-produced wines that we always see. We currently have two wines. First is our Cabernet. It has notes of blackberry, cinnamon, plum, nutmeg, and French vanilla. Then we also have our rosé wine. Our rosé is going to be a flat, dry, pink rosé with subtle strawberry and raspberry flavors. Both wines are medium-bodied wines with less sugar and less calories, and they're both available on my website, elsfinewine.com. Check them out, and I hope you love it. Thanks for clicking the link and checking out the Elite Level Status podcast. Since you're here, I have a special offer just for you. It's 15% off either of my wines. So click the link below and check them out, and I hope you enjoy the podcast. Elite Level Status podcast, we're back again. Today, I'm talking about a major societal problem. It's the current dating market. The dating market is broken. So today, I'm going to explain why I think it's broken and then give ways I think we can fix it. The dating market is broken right now because not enough people are getting what they want from it. Men are having trouble getting dates. Women are having trouble finding enough men that are actually looking for a serious, committed relationship. And I think that's because there's a disconnect right now. There's a major disconnect between single men and single women. And here's where the disconnect starts. Most men believe that the only thing women want is money. Quick story about how I found out that's not true. So I was following this girl on Instagram and she was gorgeous. She was everything you'd want, but she'd post stories at these super fancy restaurants like all the time. She'd post her food. She'd post like the ambiance. She'd post a sign outside. She'd post everything except who she's with. So I would watch these stories and I'd be like, who's taking you to all these restaurants? Is it your boyfriend? Is it your husband? But if that's the case, then why don't you show him? Why don't you tag him? Why don't you show his face? So it can't be that. So who are you going with? Is it a sugar daddy? Is it someone old and fat and all you want is his money? So that's why you're going out to all these restaurants? And I was like, are these different guys? I'm like, man, like this girl's probably going on a bunch of dates and talking to everybody. So I thought. So one night I was at dinner and she walks in, right? I'm like, okay, I caught you. Now I get to see, right? So I'm sitting there and she comes in, she goes to her table, sits down. And so I'm sitting there, I'm waiting. Okay, who's with you? Where's your guy? Where's your sugar daddy? Who's coming with you? A couple of minutes later, two more women walked in. So now they're all sitting together. And as I sat there and looked, the only man that ended up coming to their table all night was their server. So these women got dressed up, went out to a nice restaurant, ordered all the same things you'd order on a date. They ordered steak, they ordered shots, ordered the same things that you'd get on a date, but they didn't. It was just a girls' night. So to say the least, I was shocked, right? So I'm sitting there looking, and after I realized that no other guys are coming to their table, I went over there. I took a bottle of wine. I went up to them. I said, hey, ladies, I love what you're doing. I wanted to give you this wine. It's called Elite Level Status, and I hope it makes a good night even better. These girls were so nice to me. Literally, they were the sweetest girls. And they took the wine and they're like, oh my God, we're going to tell our friends. My mom loves wine. I'm going to buy a bottle for my mom. Like, they were immediately trying to support what I was doing, right? So think about this from my perspective for a second. An hour ago, I was accusing them all of being or just like looking for a sugar daddy, right? Being driven by money. But I had this specific experience where I was at the right restaurant at the right time. I saw someone that I recognized, watched her come in, and realized that this was just simply a girls' night and I had it all wrong, right? And this night changed my perspective about women and dating. So, what's the point? So, I learned that women aren't trying to take advantage of me on a first date when they want to go to a nice restaurant. They're only asking of me for what they would give to themselves. And that's something that really changed my mindset. So to the men watching this, it's not about how much money you have in the current dating market. As a matter of fact, you'd be surprised how much money doesn't matter to women. You think your girl wants to go to Louis Vuitton? A lot of these women would rather go to Target and buy pots and pans for the house. So like men need to understand that women want to build with you. They want to support you. They love the idea of meeting you and you guys like growing together. And so it's like think about it. Did your grandma and grandpa fall in love? Did your grandma fall in love with your grandpa because he was driving a Bentley? Because he was rich? Like, no. Like, she fell in love with him because he was building something. The man went to work every day. He was consistent. He provided protection, but they were building together. Like, that's why they fell in love. So I think that right now, men need to understand what women actually want. And I think that this is part of like the overall disconnect for why the dating market is so bad right now. How do we fix the dating market? Well, let's start with men first. We'll talk about women in a second, but let's start with men because in dating, men have to make the first move, right? So men have to be motivated to want to go out and get the girl that they want. But I think right now, a lot of men don't participate in the dating market because they think how I used to think and like women only want money. So if you don't feel like you're rich, then it demotivates you and you're not even in the dating market, right? So I think two things. I think that men need to understand it's not all about money, but also even if you take money out of the equation, I think that most women wouldn't date most men, even if you take money out of the equation, because not enough men have like passion and aspire to like build something. They don't have a bigger purpose in life, right? So I think men need to do a couple of things here. First of all, there has to be a process where men can motivate themselves and feel like they can actually get a woman. How do men do that? Okay, well, the first thing, I think all men need to get in shape. And I think this because you can't have a strong, confident mind without a strong, confident body. And also, too, like if you're in shape, it fixes your style. It doesn't matter if you're wearing a t-shirt or a suit. If you wear clothes that are like fitted to your body, you look good. So that's number one. And then number two is men have to find a passion and start building something and have like a bigger purpose for what they're building to. And the reason that's important is because we have to give our women something to support. We can't ask women to be supportive of us without giving them anything to support, right? So I think that as men get in shape, they find their passion, they start building something, they're going to become confident from demonstrated performance. And this is important because it helps build trust. And if a woman can see that you're building something, she can like look at you and she'll want to be a part of it. And if she sees that, then that helps build trust. And I believe it makes you look more attractive to women in general. Right. So I think if more men do that, they can build the confidence in themselves to actually enter the dating market. Because right now, I'd say the majority of men don't think they have a chance. And so they're not even dating. And so I think that's important to get more men out there so that women have a bigger pool to select from. Let's talk about women. First of all, women need to understand what men are being told. they need to understand what men are being told by social media and other men. Okay. They're being told, don't trust women. Nothing's ever enough. Tom Brady's wife left him. You think your girl won't leave you? That's what men are being told, right? And then also guys like get on each other if they do too much for a woman, especially in the dating phase, early in the dating phase. Okay. So like quick story. When I was in college, I was 17, freshman year, first semester. I was going on my date. I was going on the first date that I went on in college. So I got all dressed up. I was getting ready to meet the girl. I go to the store. I buy some flowers, right, for the girl. As I'm paying for the flowers, I'm walking out and a couple of my friends see me. They see me and they bust out laughing like, look at Will. He's a simp. Oh, he's buying flowers. I was like totally embarrassed, right? And so I was like, man, like, am I making a mistake? So I called my dad and I told him like, hey, like I'm going on my first date out here. I bought some flowers for this girl, but my boys saw me and like, they're getting on me. Am I making a mistake? My dad told me, Will, you're a leader. You do what you feel is best. If you think this girl deserves flowers, then give her the flowers. I was like, okay, yeah, I will. Now, luckily for me, I had a strong masculine person in my life that I could call and ask that question to. A lot of men don't have that. So a lot of men in that situation, they're going to throw the flowers away because they're the people who they go to for guidance or when they don't know what to do and they're stuck. The people that they go to ask a question like, what should they do? They're giving them advice like, hey, throw the flowers away. You're doing too much. You're a simp. It's not worth it. Right? So that's a problem. And then because of all that, a lot of men, they either like don't even try, or if they do try, they do like the bare minimum. Okay. So obviously this has a negative effect. If you're a woman watching this, this has a negative effect on how men treat you in the dating market, right? Now, another thing too is men, they're the biggest demotivating factor, in my opinion, is that men think like, even if they do get a girl, like the girl's going to leave him for a more successful, richer guy because men, again, think that women are only chasing money, which is wrong. But I think that men don't understand how much women provide for themselves. I think that's another fundamental misunderstanding in the dating market, right? So you have the majority of men who aren't trying or they're doing the bare minimum, but you have another group of men, but this group is way, way smaller. But this group of men think to themselves, okay, so if I'm successful, if I'm the best version of myself, I can get the girl that I want, okay? And so those guys take action. Those guys take action in fitness. Those guys take action in business. And those guys for sure take action with women. And when they see a woman they want, they go get her. So as a woman, this is the kind of guy that you're going to date. This is like the action taker guy. That's what you're seeing in the dating market. And unfortunately, women are attracted to this guy, in my opinion, like it's biology. It's simple biology. You don't want a guy that's lazy and unmotivated, not doing anything. You want a guy that's aspirational, that's competent, that has it together. So this guy, I'm sure, looks attractive to women. The problem is he typically is wanted by multiple women, right? And so if you as a woman, if you're dating this kind of guy and you catch him at the wrong time and he's talking to another girl, then you're going to take that and project it across all men and be like, all men, aren't looking to be serious, aren't looking for a committed relationship. But that's not true. There are a ton of guys that would worship the ground that you walk on. But they're just like, they don't understand it. Like they're at home. They think they don't have a chance. Or they think that you want something that you don't actually want. So I can see as a woman, like how in your reality, there aren't that many good guys to pick from. Like I get it. I can see how you could feel that way. So I think that another thing I want to throw into is that for the guys that are unmotivated, these guys can go years without talking to a woman in a dating scenario. So I think that a lot of times women will talk to a guy and they're like, oh, this guy's creepy or he's weird. Like he's not. He's just nervous. Like he doesn't talk to women like that. But since he doesn't like have a chance to practice, he can come across as like creepy, right? So that's why it's important that this is why I want to do this show. Like I want men to understand what women actually are looking for, so more of them can build themselves into something dateable and enter the dating market and give women more options to pick from. Okay, so if you're a woman watching this, I can understand your pain. I can understand how you feel like, you men aren't looking for serious relationships and there's not a lot to pick from. And I think that because of this, women are like leveling up. Women have all this energy. They would have given it to a man. Man's not there. So they're putting it back into themselves. And women are making more money and they're getting more educated. Women are just leveling up in every way. And women are able to give themselves a much higher standard of living. And this is great for women, but for guys who don't know any better, they look at your lifestyle and they just assume that you got a sugar daddy. You're living off a man. A man is giving you all that because they don't understand that you do way more for yourself than we could ever know, right? And this is a major reason why I think the dating market is broken. How can women help fix the dating market? Well, let's define what fixing the dating market means for women. I assume that it means women are able to filter out men that aren't looking for a serious relationship, and they need to be able to attract men that are looking for a serious relationship. If that's the case, then I have 4 suggestions women should try in order to help themselves in the dating market. Suggestion number 1. So realize that some men just don't want to get married, right? They think it only benefits women. They think women are going to divorce you, steal your money, and blah, blah, blah. But ladies, there's a group of men that doesn't buy into any of that. There's a group of men where they have an obligation to be in a serious, committed relationship. They're being pushed towards marriage. You want to know who those men are? Religious men. Now, here's my suggestion. I think that if you're single and you're looking for a serious relationship, you should go to environments where everyone inside of that environment are being pushed towards a serious relationship. In my opinion, the best environment for that is church. So if you don't go to church, I would suggest like join a church, like give it a shot. It can't hurt, right? Just go check the vibes, see what's in there, check it out. I think that would be an environment where at least you know that the majority of men in there they have the same mentality as you as far as looking for something serious. And you know that because their religion is telling them that, right? So that's suggestion number 1. Suggestion number 2. So another quick story about suggestion number 2. So one time I had to go and do like charity work. I had to go to this building. It was like a Ronald McDonald House or something. We had to make cookies for like sick kids. So I show up, I go in there, they're showing me where all the like ingredients and supplies are at. And there's 2 other guys with me. And so guys are cool guys. I'm like, okay, cool. We all start talking and we start talking about women. And these 2 other guys start talking about how they can't wait to be a husband and be a father and like play catch with their son and be Superman for their daughter. And like the way they were talking, I was like, yeah, like I see what you're saying, right? Like, but I had never heard men like talk like that. And so they're talking and it really it stuck with me. And I just kind of wonder, and like I don't have any like science or numbers to back this up, but I think that if a guy is willing to take time out of his day to go do charitable work, to go and make cookies for sick kids, I feel like that probably aligns with the same type of guy that's looking for a committed relationship. So suggestion number 2 to the women watching this try joining a charity, because I feel like there has to be a correlation between the guys that are involved in that and then the guys looking for a serious relationship. All right, so that's suggestion number 2. Suggestion number 3, and this one is huge. Try to support a guy before he's successful. And this is very like important. So you want to try to support men before results and success shows up. And it's not because you're trying to get something out of them. It's not because you're trying to like invest and like get something out or like be manipulative. But it just makes a difference. It just puts you in a separate category. Another quick story. So when I was in middle school, I was like a fat kid, right? I wore like glasses and I was fat. But then I started losing weight. I played sports and I started playing basketball. So when I was in 7th grade, I was telling this girl like, hey, I play basketball now and I want to go to the NBA. This girl looked at me and said, I think you can do it. And you better remember me when you get to the NBA. And like to this day, it stuck with me. I'm like, wow, like, she really like thought I would be successful. She really thought that like I would be something, right? And it just puts you in a different category. Like, hopefully this is making sense. Like, maybe I'm not explaining it well, but like, it just puts you as a woman in a totally separate category for a guy, right? So definitely try to like show belief in men even before they accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. Hopefully this makes sense. Okay, and then suggestion number 4, be careful what you consume on social media. I feel like a lot of people scroll on Instagram and they'll see like a perfect couple, a perfect loving couple, and it's like, okay, we get it. You're so in love, we know, and you'll scroll past it. But then when it's chaos, when it's drama, when it's a wife and she caught her man cheating and she's throwing his stuff off the balcony, you'll watch that. Don't watch that stuff. Like, that's bad. You can't manifest a good relationship with that bad energy around you. So don't watch that stuff. It just ruins trust and everything. So in summary, the dating market is broken, I believe, because there's a gigantic misunderstanding between single men and single women. And that's causing people to not get what they want from the dating market. But there are good men and there are good women. They're just missing each other right now. And I think if we can fix the misunderstanding, we can begin to fix the dating market. Hopefully this podcast can help like make that change and start a conversation. So if you've watched this, definitely let me know what you think. Leave comments. Let's start a conversation. Let's get people talking about this. Let's start a conversation, and hopefully that we can get single men and single women to understand each other better. And hopefully that leads to a better dating market. Because I feel like if there's more like successful relationships, then society as a whole will benefit. So yeah, share this to anyone you think would want to hear it. Like, comment, let me know what you guys think. This podcast is brought to you by Elite Level Status Wine. I'm your host, Will Scott. I'll see y'all next time.